Okay, you can see here I have graphic novel Son of Origins in my hands, and in it you'll see a lot of artwork by Gene Colan. There we go, just flipping right open. We come across a Daredevil story, Brother Take My Hand. And the interesting thing about this particular book is no matter where you flip to it, it's going to have some art by Gene Colan. There's Gene Colan's version of Whiplash. Now, I don't know if he created that character or if that was a Jack Kirby holdover, but he definitely drew Whiplash. There you go. Who we just saw as one of the main villains in Iron Man 2, The Coming of Whiplash. Maybe he did create that character. I probably should have looked that up before this, but hey, I'm doing what I can. Let's flip here. He even did The Wonder of the Watcher. So he did the earthly battles, Gene Colan. And then he did the fantastic space stuff, which is very much, had to be inspired by Kirby's work. Obviously, you can see the Kirby crackle there. But he's keeping it in the house style anyway. So yeah. Gene did it all. One time he carried Marvel. Check this bad boy out. Booyah! That's a huge, oversized Doctor Strange mystical hero. Most mystical hero of them all. I'll flip open to some Gene Colan here. He's the one that brought us the hooded Doctor Strange. I always thought that was a really cool design. Of course, a lot of this is based on the universe created by Steve Ditko. So not only did Colan have to emulate Jack Kirby, the great action comic storyteller, but he had to approximate Steve Ditko, one of the great, I don't know, surrealist visionaries of sequential illustration. So, good stuff. Alright, let's get down to the meat and potatoes. Dun-dun! Tomb of Dracula. Essential Tomb of Dracula. Volume 1. Now that's John Buscema on the back. But that is Colan on the cover. And of course, all Colan interiors. I got a couple marked here. Out here you can see his use of Gothic settings. You can really see the Universal and Hammer movie influence there. He uses those dark settings, a lot of shadow to create the mood. Very atmospheric. There's another one showing just how Baroque Gene's designs could be. And majestic. It's all based on Jack Palance. Who knew? Now, that's pretty common knowledge in comic book world. But Volume 1, Volume 2, Essential Tomb of Dracula. Now this is more of an action sequence. There's Blade. See, back then Blade actually had wooden tiki knives. It's weird, yeah, I know. But it's like wooden stakes, you know. There were many wooden stakes. He was staking the vampire. Oh, there's one of those transformations like we saw in the Rob Zombies comic. Here Doctor Strange crosses over with Dracula as he approaches. Dracula senses something. It's just good, strong storytelling. Ta-da! Number 3. Now this one's cool because this is the one I have signed. Gene Colan, Marv Wolfman. This is before I used to get singles signed at conventions. I was never really into that. I was always more into talking to the creators, and G and I talked to Gene Colan quite a bit. He was really excited about the idea of talking to us about film, and storytelling, music, all those kinds of things. He's a great guy. So I had this signed because I needed this volume of Essentials, but I thought, well, I want to get something signed. Check that out. Walking through the woods, very atmospheric. So atmospheric, time and time again. I mean, it's the highest compliment, and a very high one indeed, to say for a comic book where things could be so easily childish and laughable. It keeps them gruesome, mysterious, dark. That gets us to my collection of issues from the actual 70s, my singles issues. I don't have a whole lot, but I have a few. Oh, there's Dracula versus Robin Hood, Frankenstein, D'Artagnan, and other great shock stars. I think Huck Finn is there too. The House That Screams. A lot of these covers aren't even Colan. Ah, well, there's one I just showed you from the Essentials in black and white. Blade versus Hannibal King. And dun-dun, special double-sized issue. Triumphant climax of the greatest Dracula story of all. Just a lot of fun stuff. He did Epic Scope really well too. You know, that mysticism and dark stuff, that's not easy to pull off. How much mood and emotion he puts into everything. Blade versus Hannibal King. They are going at it. Very dynamic action. Oh, it's like King whooped Blade's ass for a second there. I guess he is part vampire. No, Hannibal King is getting my characters confused. Not Drake, but yeah, Hannibal King, vampire detective. Never mind on all that. Rewind, forget it. But anyway, there you go. Dracula, more transformations again. Is that transmogrification? Polymorphing, perhaps. Yeah, I like to know the technical term for it when I can. You can see a lot of the influence of the EC comics. You know, you can see the gruesomeness and gore of the EC comic type stuff. You can also see the dark atmospheric settings of the gothic settings, like the Universal movies. And he can do the surreal stuff too. Now this is actually Tomb of Dracula, Day of Blood, Night of Redemption, which was a continuation of Marv Wolfman and Gene Colan's Dracula story they did in 1991. So pretty cool, definitely worth picking up. Like to see those guys revisit those characters, and also Gene as an artist. I mean, I think he just got better and better. Because his stuff is more surreal. It's still the same moody and gothic, but more surreal, disturbing. Still has those Baroque elements. It's good stuff. Good stuff. So, yeah, you know, over the years as a storyteller and a producer of fear films, maker of scary tales, if you will. Yeah, I know that sounds pretentious and all, but one has to have a goal, and that is to be a filmmaker of some type. At this time, we're definitely making horror films. That's our studies have led us to the work of Gene Colan, and for that we feel forever enriched, forever thankful, and especially blessed to have met him in person, talked to him, and just to share not only his knowledge, but just sharing his person, because he really was a genial, giving, just unbelievably friendly individual. So he'll be missed as a person, I'm sure, as a family man, and of course as an amazing artist. So thank you, Gene.